hello, Rumblers and YouTubers. I've been having fun with these album ranking things, parties, my musical fun, and let's see. I have a special gift from Tankrat, and I wanted to start with that because it kind of is a theme from what this stream's about. She I don't even know if Tankrat's male or female, but has a story about Roger Waters, and we are going to talk about the Roger Waters era Pink Floyd and ranking the albums, and we'll just talk. I'm kind of just fun to talk about some of my favorite groups and favorite music, and ranking the albums is a way to do that and force some hard choices on your old friend Gosney here. And Jacob Castro, good to see you. But Tankrat, listen to this story. I'm going to read a story from Tankrat. He, not sure, went to sleep and left this story behind. So here, this is Tankrat speaking, not Gosney. I'll be asleep when this is streamed. Good night, Tankrat. I hope you watch this on replay. But I have a story about Roger Waters. I was a kid in the 80s living in a village in the UK called the Upper Lamburn. My dad worked for the United States Air Force as a Fed. Oh, well, that's okay, forgiven. At RAF Greenham Common. While living in the village, an elderly lady lived next door. Like that old lady, I would help her as much as possible, and I would play with her grandkids and my sister. The kid's dad was rich. I knew that from the Bentley he was driving. I was in 6th grade at the time and didn't or cared for celebrities. I just knew him as the old lady's son. So the story from my mom was that the dad came over to my house to introduce himself and to check out my family. You know, my parents' stuff. Well, I found out his name was Roger, not who or what he did. So over the few years we lived there, my dad would invite Roger and his family over for parties, and my dad knew who he was and didn't make a big deal out of it, just treated him like a regular person. My mom didn't know who he was, nor did he even think she cared. So the first party, one of my wives of one of the guys who worked for my dad went up to my mom and said, "That's Roger Waters." My mom said, "Yeah, that's Roger." The wife meant, "No, you don't understand. That's Roger Waters," replied the wife. And my mom went, "Oh, that's cool." Anyway, my family got gifts from him for Christmas. And when we had to move, Roger gave my dad a complete Pink Floyd collection of his work signed, something I have to kill my sister for if and when my dad moves on from this world. Not much of a story, but it's mine. No, I think it's a great story. Roger's mom was known to me as Lady Grey, and her late husband had been knighted. How about that? So thank you, Tankrat, for sharing. Beautiful. And England DG, a guitar lawyer is going to sing me to freedom. England DJ, I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I don't know if you know how much your support has meant to me this last day or two. You know, I gotta say, I always get in these existential funks about whether or not I really even want to stream anymore. And what I just want to retreat into my little world and write my books and do my appeals and kind of go into fantasy land and listen to my music and kind of not, streaming is a little bit, but it's like, I got so many things I got to do and things I'm doing. And you just kind of kept me going. And I had one of my closest friend, who's my son's godfather, called me today. And he said that stream that you supported the other night with Andrew and I, so it was the best stream I've ever done. So between my best friend's praise and his wife's praise, which is better, and your support, I want to say thank you very much for the support. And it kind of brightened my day. Like I got up in the morning and I told my wife, because she was already asleep, and I said, I did really well last night, and she was all happy. And so it just made our day. And I want to let you know I really do appreciate it. So England DG, you are really a hero, and kind of got me, like I wasn't going to do anything till at least Friday, but then I was like, you know what? I feel good about things now. So you picked me up, you like brightened my day, and mainly because like when my wife's happy, I'm happy. Maybe that's it. Like the wife is happy, then I'm happy. That's it. So Okay, let's who else we got. So Tank Rat, I don't know if they say it, but Gene XO is here. Good to see you. And Shane Sousa, of course. Trish, first, last. Yes, I can do it all. Legal analysis and album reviews. I've got some tremendous stuff planned, but it takes when I do things that I really want to put my best. I don't want to just put out streams for just to stream. I want to give you some value. So when I have something to say, then I do it. But I love this. I love talking music. That's like my close to my heart. And so this has been a little fun little interlude. So David Nelson, The Dark Side of the Gods, funny. And Freedom Ring, hello. Here's England DG, guitar lawyer, gonna sing me to freedom. And then here's high five. Psh, you're a cool dude. I found you through rackets, but I really enjoyed everything you do. But it's Branca's fault. Blame him. Yes, Branca is the character. Yeah, that old rackets man. He is an undependable cuss. You know, there's a reason he's late. Oh, look at this. I went to Mass last week in large part due to you in Chicago, St. Thomas the Apostle. Beautiful church. Nothing like it in Florida. Wow. You know, I'll tell you something, Freedom Ring. That's a great point. When my wife and I, when our family, when we travel, we make a point on Sunday to go to Mass. And we go to Mass either at the most spectacular cathedral we can find, or we go to Mass at a very small and intimate church that's only open once a week, and the priest comes in once a week or something like that. And it's always a highlight of our trip. And you also kind of it's a chance to kind of relax from the go vacation, get in touch with it, sort of relax and meditate in a beautiful spot. So I really do like that. So, and Freedom Ring, thank you very much. God bless you. And it's good to see you. So Slidey Pie's here. We've been talking Slidey Pies. We've been chatting, so I like to see you. So let's get to the topic for tonight. Now look here, see, and you don't believe that I've got over 3,500 CDs. Here's my Pink Floyd collection. Okay. Now let's take this is Pink Floyd. Okay, so let's Audio Wizard. Good to see you. See, all my music buddies here are gonna be here. So let's like we did for Yes, and did we do it for Genesis? I think we did for Genesis. Let's wean this down a little bit so that we're more focused. Okay. So first thing we're doing, we're going to cut right off the top the post Waters Pink Floyd. Okay. And sorry about that. So there is Momentary Lapse of Reason, and check out that ticket. Tampa Stadium, Pink Floyd, Rain or Shine, Friday, October 30th, 1987. And I will tell you, that was the best stadium concert I've ever been to, bar none. That Tampa night in 87 was spectacular. I can't really say there's any other stadium concerts I've ever been to that I even liked, even when I liked the band. So, but Momentary Lapse of Reason tour for sure. Oh, England DG is already coming in, shooting across. You got to tell me, England, if this is if you're promoting, if you want this to count towards Sidecar. Well, I hear my wife making tea. See, you guys know see, we have a routine around here. My wife's making the tea, but I will do Sidecars if that's what you feel like, because this is a party stream, it's a fun stream. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten you were a recent convert. Welcome to the faith. Sorry for picking on you in Joe's stream. You weren't picking. It was all men, good-hearted fun. Well, I'm a recent convert, about 12 years ago, I guess. Maybe more than that now, but forget exactly when. Actually, the story is in Prepare, if you want to know kind of the story of my journey. And I've told it before. But yeah, and I can't say that, like, I mean, the Catholic faith is so rich and full and deep of stuff. I mean, we each have our way of accessing it, and there's no way to know everything. You can spend a lifetime, and I should spend more time on my faith, but hopefully I'm forgiven. So anyway, Momentary Lapse of Reason. We're not talking about Division Bell. We're not talking about Delicate Sound of Thunder, and we're not talking about Pulse, because these are post Roger Waters, right? Okay. So let's see here. What other albums can we exclude? Okay, well, we could exclude, how about this one? Pink Floyd Pompeii. Have you ever seen this one? Okay, you Pink Floyd fans out there, are you jealous? Or how about this one here? Wait a second, you're going to be jealous of some of these. We're not going to talk about. Well, yes, we are. Yes, we are. Well, maybe not. This is a live album. Okay, so how about this baby? Pink Floyd, London, 66, 67. Now, Roger Waters is on this, but it is not counted because it's really not one of their releases. It's more of a live documentary album with video. So we're not talking about that. What are we talking about then? We're talking about everything in between. Now, I will include in this. This album, which is their first album with Syd Barrett, that does not include David Gilmour. David Gilmour, the guitar player, who is essential to the band as far as I'm concerned. This is the first album called Piper of the Gates of Dawn, and we will rank this, all right, along with the rest of these buggers. And let's talk about, all right, so let's take the first slice, all right? The first slice is going to be off of the first slice is going to be, let's see, albums that I don't recommend, that I almost never listen to. All right. And I'll tell you, my opinions are going to be controversial because I can see already some of my friends in the chat. This is just my opinion. You listen to what you want. Okay. This is Gaz's opinion. I know there's already people here who are starting to argue with me, and you're going to start like, I can't believe I'm going to do some controversial ratings in this show. Okay. I say what I think, and I'm going to give you my best. I'm going to tell you what I believe. And so I'm going to go for the first slice of albums that I almost never listen to. All right. And you guys are probably going to say, oh yeah, Gazi, these are ones that that you should listen to. But I just don't. And the first one is going to be Umaguma. We should count these first, right? Okay, let's see. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, we got 13 albums. So on number 13, I'm going to go Umaguma. I've tried to listen to this. I can't listen to it. This is the Tales of Topographic Oceans of Pink Floyd. It's like each one now it's interesting because disc 1 has some live stuff on it, but disc 2, that doesn't really count, does it? Disc 2 is each band member doing their own whole side of an album. Boring. And of course it has the whole Roger Waters, I'm going to make a complex song. I'm going to make it so deep. Oh, the torture, right? Several species of small furry animals gathered together in a cave and grooving with a pict. So Roger Waters, right? No, not worth listening. I tried. I listened occasionally. It doesn't work. All right. You are not allowed an opinion. The hive mind is always correct. The hive mind must rule. Dark Side of the Moon, because that's what everyone knows, so that's the best, right? Society says so, and live in a society. Yes, you just stay tuned, England. I hope you're going to stay with me because we got some controversial opinions coming up, of which you've already put your finger on the pulse of Ghazni. I can see it. The next one I would say that is skippable, and this one, but this is definitely bottom of my list. I'll tell you, I put listening time into this album, trying to get it and trying to like it, but never could get it. The next one is this one. Now, you may not know what this one is. So who knows how many real Pink Floyd fans do we have in this chain? Pink Floyd's one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time. All right. Now, this cover's a little different than what you might expect, but this is the version I could get. You know what this one is? Come on, you Pink Floyd fans, you. I will give you a cut off of here. Crumbling Land by Pink Floyd. And note that there are other bands on this. This is a soundtrack album. What soundtrack album is this? Also, Heartbeat Pig Meat by Pink Floyd. Come in number 51, Your Time's Up. You're going to give up on me that easy? Come on, you got to be. This is obscure stuff. Other bands on this album are Big Brother and the Holding Company, Grateful Dead, Chris Christopherson, Kaleidoscope, Mountain, Mississippi Queen, Chris Christopherson with Rita Coolidge, Jerry Garcia. Does anybody know it? Nobody's guessing? Okay, no, this is Zabriskie Point, music from the movie Zabriskie Point. Okay, but I'm going to put Zabriskie Point at 12. Don't listen to it that much. I should probably go back and try, because I should listen to some of the other stuff. But and you picked and I see that England DG got more. I'm going to put that one next, and that's going to be my number 11. Again, I just don't listen to it that much. I've listened to it a couple times, and I'm like, nothing grabs me. It's not that interesting. Can't really say. And then now the next one. This one is, I got to say, you real Pink Floyd fans are going to smack me around. This is one that many people think is good. And I can say, of all of these, I haven't listened to this one enough. I need to probably go back and give it another listen, because some people say this one is worthwhile. But I'm not. Every time I listen to it, I don't get it. But maybe after the stream, you guys will guilt me. Oh, Shane, no. Although it does feature an animal, it's Adam Hart Mother. Does anybody know Adam Hart Mother? This is very obscure stuff. But I hear that the Adam Hart Mother suite is worth listening to. I need to go back and listen. But I'm going to put that one as number 10. And I would put, okay, so that's the first cut. Those are albums I almost never listen to. I've tried to listen to most of them. Adam Hart Mother, I should probably go back and listen, but I have listened to it, and it just doesn't grab me. And it kind of gets lumped in with the Uma Guma crowd. So, yeah, Adam Hart Mother, Trish. I'm right. I see it. Okay, now let's go to the next cut. And the next cut is, I would say, ones that I will listen to very occasionally. Either there's a good song on it, or it's just okay. All right, but worth a glimpse. And we're going to put it in order, because I have a very definite order of what I prefer in this one. The first one I would say is, so number 9, and I would say this almost made it into the don't listen to it. And you guys are going to be really upset, you Pink Floyd fans. And that's Piper, Gates of Dawn. That's my number 9. I don't really like this. Now, Astronomy Domain and Interstellar Overdrive. Okay. That got him out of the box. I get it. But man, like Bike. I got the bike. I mean, this Roger Waters, and we got to talk a little bit too, somewhere along the line here. And I know Tank Rat's not here to hammer on me, but I got to say, Tank Rat, Roger Waters is kind of nuts, He's a true artist. I respect that, but he's a drama queen. And this Syd Barrett was not a genius. I'm sorry, he wasn't. Roger Waters, you are a genius. You may thought he was a genius. You looked up to that guy as a kid, but he was psycho, and he was a drug addict, and the songs he wrote weren't that good. So if I listen to this album, I listen to Astronomy Domain and Interstellar Overdrive, and then I put it away. The other stuff is just, to me, very, very dated and very bad. Yeah, see Emily play. Oh, look at you. All right. So that's my number 9. Now we're going to get into even more controversy. And I see we got someone over here, Brad Ohio, over here in Rumbleland. Hit it. And this one almost, I would see, this is no Gilmore on this one. So there's no David Gilmour here. And Pink Floyd is the 4 of them working together. The 4 of them, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. My same criticism of this one, the final cut, which this is missing Richard Wright. And Richard Wright is a big part of the Pink Floyd sound. So it's really, it loses something. Now, I listened to this one a lot more than this one, a lot more. Okay. And I would say some of David Gilmour's solos, guitar solos on this are phenomenal, are great. And it does have a certain depressing cohesion to it. But this is almost a Roger Waters solo album with Nick Mason and David Gilmour. No Richard Wright, though. Come on, you got a Richard Wright quick because he couldn't put up with the snot that was Roger Waters. All right. Fletcher Memorial Home, The Final Cut, and Not Now John are very good. Very good songs, I would say. And those are my favorite. Now, the rest of it, you listen to it, it kind of depresses you. All right. So I'm going to put Final Cut. Is that number? Are we on 8? Final Cut. I think so. Okay. Now the next one is Obscured by Clouds. Now this one is pretty good. Pretty good. Did we get, did I miss one? No, we got more. Okay. Yeah, this one's pretty good. Now, this one I would say it's, they aren't quite at the level that they eventually make. Okay. They aren't at their greatest level. But this one is actually, when I want to hear like Pink Floyd and I want to hear stuff that I haven't heard that much, that I haven't burned into the ground by listening to it over and over, but I do want to listen to some good Pink Floyd, I pull this one out because I don't listen to it that much. And when I do, I'm like, because you can kind of see where they're going. It gives you the feel of what Pink Floyd's about, and it's not overplayed at all. So part of the value of this one, and part of the reason I rank this above, is it's got the full team on it. It's got all 4 of the best. It's kind of in the middle of their good era, and it's way underplayed. So it's one, if you want to hear like Pink Floyd that's decent, but it's not, you haven't heard it, Obscured by Clouds. That's 7. What do you think? This is kind of obvious. I mean, some of these things are not that controversial. I mean, the rankings are, you may move them around a little bit, but now we're getting into the good stuff. All right, now we're getting the stuff that I legitimately listen to. And we got to go, the next one has got to be, so now this is 6. I don't know if this is a must-have. This isn't a must-have, but this is the second album called Saucer Full of Secrets. Saucer Full of Secrets. This one has got a lot of good stuff on it. And this one, you really get a feel. This is when Sid left, Gilmour comes in, their first album with a full 4 lineup. And I would say this one has got some strong songs on it. Let There Be More Light, Remember a Day, Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, Corporal Clegg. A Saucer Full of Secrets is very avant-garde, and I love it. I love that album, love that song. Then we got Seesaw and Jug Band Blues, not so good. But this is a good album. Now, if you haven't heard, it's, my son isn't as into this one. It's not quite as musically sophisticated, let's say, but very good. Very good. So this is definitely number 6 on my listening list, and I will listen to this one occasionally, and like, that's cool. Last one was 8. You missed Obscured by Clouds, Alabama. So far we've got, let's review. 13 is Umaguma. 12 is Zabriskie Point. 11 is More. 10 is Adam Hart Mother, which I'm going to go back and listen to some more. But 11. 10 is the first album, Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. 9 is The Final Cut. 8, Obscured by Clouds. 7, Saucer Full of Secrets. All right. So with that, now we're talking about the ones that are must-haves, right? Because so we've got one album. Like, is Saucer Full of Secrets a must-have? Only when you've got these others. So this is the one you buy when you've got these other ones. All right. But the top 5 are kind of like must-have in the collection. And so let's review what those are. The Wall. Actually, here it is. The Wall. But here, for you jealous Pink Floyd fans, we got The Wall, but we also have the original master recording gold discs of The Wall. Okay. We also have Metal, the original master recording on gold disc of Metal. See, look at this baby. Gold master disc. Animals, Wish You Were Here, and of course, one of the biggest selling albums of all time, gold master recording of Dark Side of the Moon. All right, so how do we rank these? Holy cow. I don't know. Now, this, I got to say, I did not rank these top 5 before I got here. I purposely left it for our discussion. So what do you guys think? What should go in what order? And this is very painful for me because I don't like doing this. But see, in Brad in Ohio, I'll bet you that's what it is. Brad in Ohio. I'm going to go with Metal as number 5. And I hate this. And you know why I hate it? Because it's got Echoes on it. And I think Echoes is probably the best song they've ever done. So, and it's a 23-minute epic piece. So how can I vote against Echoes? And then it's also got One of These Days, which is a staple. Well, the reason is because it's got these other 5 songs, which are good, but not great, right? So A Pillow of Winds, Fearless, Saint-Tropez, and Seamus. Okay, they're good, but I mean, it's not Echoes. Echoes was it, right? I mean, so Pompeii, Shane, you haven't been keeping up. Pompeii is not, we're not ranking Pompeii because Pompeii is a live album, all right? So will you forgive me if I put Metal, and it's Meddle, put Metal as number 5? Will you forgive me for that? Okay, I'm going to forgive myself. Okay, so there we go. Now we're talking The Wall, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and Animals. Now, it went in this order. It went in Dark Side, Wish You Were Here, Animals, and The Wall. Now, I guess this is all very, hit or miss, right? All of these, I love all of these equally, and I listen to these front to back. When I listen to these, I hate even cutting it off. Like if I get to my office before the album's done, maybe I'll listen to the last song to finish the album off. So I will listen to this album front to back. First controversial choice of this collection is going to be, I'm going to put as number 4, The Wall. Almost impossible for me to do that. But let me explain myself. The reason I put The Wall as number 4 and not higher is because I think it's overplayed, and they've overplayed very specific songs because Waters left soon after this, and then they always play Comfortably Numb, right? And that's it. They don't play much off The Wall. And there's some great stuff. Like I'd like to hear Young Lust, or Another Brick on the Wall, part 1, 2, and 3. Or Waiting on the Worms. I know. Okay, Just Revere, calm down, Blaspheme. You can do your own stream and pick your own rankings. Look, I do have it on original master recording, gold disc, Pink Floyd's The Wall. So come on. If I have 2, I've bought this multiple times. And I will say that this album, Another Brick on the Wall part 2 was kind of played into the ground, was it? Hey You, The Trial. Yes, all of these were great. It's epic. You got to listen to front to back, double album. And at the time, this was the first album that I'll tell you, okay, here's another little story. I've never told this story. Here's a new Ghazni story. New Ghazni story for you. Yes, Echoes was played at Pompeii. When I was a kid and this album came out, my cousin, Louis, I was in 9th grade, I think, so 79. So I was like 12 or 13. And I went up to my cousin Louis's house up in Jersey. He actually lives in Jersey near the Delaware, a place called Pennsgrove. and he has a place that's right on the Delaware River, and he had a pool, and I was just a young kid. So I just getting into music, and I just kind of, if you've read The Summer Friend, you know about how I got into music. And one of the first things I was listening to Pink Floyd, and I went and I sat in his, I stayed up in his upstairs bedroom, and it had this big plate glass window overlooking the Delaware River, and you could see the oil refineries on the other side of the river. So beautiful. And I'd put these headphones on and I listened to The Wall, this cassette tape of The Wall. And I was like, what is this? And it blew me away. And I said, I have got to have this cassette tape of The Wall. And so I said, what will it take for you to give me? You know what he said, how about if you scrape my swimming pool? Because he was drained the swimming pool. He wanted to scrape all the paint off it. I scraped the paint off his entire swimming pool for a cassette tape of The Wall. Now, I got to tell you, that was partially because old Gosney here didn't know the value of money. And I worked all day scraping with a little scraper, chipping off the paint off his swimming pool. But I got The Wall on cassette. So for me to pick this as number 4, very hard, because this is deep emotional attachments. Wait to say England DG. All in all, you only picked on The Walls from we picked on The Wall. And this will only lead you to the fall. Larger silently knows this band because of these songs, right? And that's true. Okay, it's a popular one, right? So I suffered for The Wall. So but I'm just gonna go with it as number 4 because I've got to rank these other ones. Now, of the next 3, which one? And this is another controversial choice, but I'm going to go with Dark Side. Dark Side of the Moon is my number 3. Now, it's hard to argue because people say, oh my God, On the Run, Time, Great Gig in the Sky, Money, Us and Them, Brain Damage, The Epic, the biggest selling album ever. How can you go to number 3? But you got to rank them somewhere. And what do I say? I know, Goki Grandy. I'm saying I love these are all must-have records. I'm not saying any of these top 5 are must-haves. So I'm not, but I've got it. If you had to force, if I forced you to do it, anything you choose would be wrong because all 5 of these are great. But I'm going to go with this one because I simply don't listen to it quite as much as the last 2. That's number 1. Number 2, it's a bit overplayed. And it's also, I'm kind of sick of the whole Just Revere Unfollowed, but you did give me $2 on the way out the door. I know I told you, Gosney, I'm controversial. I say what I think. And this is legitimately, if I was going to say it, I just say that this is number 3. Why is that? Well, because I like these other ones. And Animals is number 2. Of course, you know what number 1 is. But 2 is Animals. Now, why is that? Because Animals never gets played. Every one of these songs is great. And it's like when I learned Animals, after I listened to Wall, I got Animals. And nobody knew Animals. It was like nobody listens to Dogs or Pigs. Pigs on the Wing, Sheep. And of course, it's all this Orwell Animal Farm stuff, which I love the Orwell reference and the way it's it's a concept album. And this is very much a Waters penned thing. But some of the guitar solos, the keyboard work of Richard Wright, they stretch out. I love this album. Yeah, well, Shane, I know you're saying that. Trouble is Steve's a bass player and hence a Waters fan. You know that I got another story. I can tell you. Can I just tell you guys this? This is a secret. You're going to get some real inside Pink Floyd information. And that is that Gilmour played most of the bass lines on Pink Floyd's records. And I know that from a fellow named Tony Franklin. Tony Franklin was invited to be the bass player for Pink Floyd, but turned them down. When Waters left, they invited Tony Franklin. And Tony Franklin, if you ever seen Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill, the video with David Gilmour and Kate Bush are playing that. It had a little resurgence lately. The bass player who played with David Gilmour was Tony Franklin. And Tony Franklin is kind of I have a little crush, a man crush, a bass player man crush on him. And he says that Gilmour is a great bass player, including a fretless bass player. And he played like the solos on Sheep, for example. Do 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 do. Gilmour. Okay, I'm telling you. So Animals, and then of course you know what the final Wish You Were Here is number one. And I will say the reason for that is every song on here is epic. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, amazing. Welcome to the Machine, Have a Cigar, Wish You Were Here. And did you know who's the singer on Have a Cigar? That's the only guest vocalist Pink Floyd has ever had on any of their albums. Except, well, if you want to, actually a vocalist, not somebody just going belting like Greg Kick in the Sky. Just Revere. Waters helped me not be a liberal, ironically. Driving home from the Tampa concert 2017, he did a podcast and recommended Amusing Ourselves to Death. From there, 1984 and Brave New World, and the rest is history. Yeah, 1984 is excellent. That's Orwell. And Brave New World is, oh my God, brain. So, but Wish You Were Here. Let's talk about Wish You Were Here because, yeah, Roy Harper, Trish Norman got it. Roy Harper sang Have a Cigar. Come out here, boy. Which one's pink, by the way? I can never figure out which one's pink. And actually, Tony Franklin, the bass player I was telling you about, who advised me of David Gilmour's great bass playing skills, including his fretless skills. Tony Franklin's known as the fretless monster. And he played on many of Roy Harper's albums. That's how he got hooked up with Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. So he's writing a book, by the way, and I hope when he writes the book, he'll come on my channel and actually promote it because I want to interview Tony Franklin on my channel. So Wish You Were Here, great album. I would say this is a cohesive band album. And it's like Animals is great, but it's more of a Roger Waters. Same thing with The Wall. It was Waters started to dominate. Now there were the solos. You can clearly see the band is still at play here. But Waters has taken all the writing credits. You know, he didn't write Gilmour's guitar solos. He didn't write Richard Wright's keyboard work. He didn't get the timing feel of Nick Mason on his drums. Sorry, Mr. Waters, but you didn't do those things. The band is greater than the sum. It's sort of like Sting and the Police. Sting's a great songwriter. He wrote the Police's songs. But without Stuart Copeland and Andy Summers, Sting ain't such a great songwriter. Waters is the same thing. I really am very disappointed in Mr. Waters' attitude post Pink Floyd, but it's not for me to decide. They got to work together. But this is, I think, the last cohesive band that they have, the band album they have. And I love it because it comes off of Dark Side. So this is the album after Dark Side of the Moon, which is amazing because this was just such a huge album. And what do you do after Dark Side of the Moon, the biggest album of all time? And one of the reasons this was such a big hit, not that it's not a great album, give it that. But when you compared it to anything else that was out in 73, the recording quality was so pristine and so amazing that it set the bar for audiophile recordings. So I think a lot of the reason that this blew the doors off as far as sales go is because every time somebody wanted to show off their audiophile stereo system, they'd put on this album. All right. And because it was, for the time, there was nothing that could touch it. Alan Parsons was involved in that, the Alan Parsons Project, right? So they really were meticulous in recording this. So I think that is one of the reasons it's also a great album, but this album they had to follow up with, and it just hit on all cylinders. I think they were cohesive and just great. And this is exactly right. And we can talk, that's another thing I kind of wanted to talk to you about. Oh, and this is also true. The breakup, please, was tragic. Police is one of my other top five favorite bands. My five favorite bands: Zeppelin number one, and then I'd say Rush, Yes, Pink Floyd, and the Police. Those are my top five. If I'm talking about like rock bands, which is kind of obvious, most a lot of people say. No, I don't have vinyl. I traded. I had 1,000 vinyl records, and I traded them all in for about 300 CDs back when I could do that. Now the vinyl's probably worth a lot. The problem is I kept having to rebuy the same albums over because I'd scratch them up, putting the needles on, playing my bass to them, and I had to buy like Zeppelin 4 3 or 4 times and Zeppelin 2 3 or 4 times. And after a while, in the scratches, I just found the CD format better. So, yeah, I've got about 3,500 CDs. Last I counted, I still buy stuff on CD. I mean, I buy everything on CD, like this one here, Matteo Mancuso, The Journey, great jazz album. I just bought that. Here's the Gingers, Wallflowers, signed by the band. So I still get stuff on CD, and then I rip it onto my disc. And that's one of the reasons everybody laughs at me. I don't have a cell phone because I keep all of my music. It's on a little tiny microchip. It's about 500 gigabytes. And I have it. I don't stream music. I just listen to it off my, what do you call it? Tablet. And it's the only tablet I can find that can hold that kind of capacity. So it's sort of and the thing is that they can't take away my CD. That's like one of the reasons I buy DVDs is because they can't censor it. They can't take it away from me. I had to rebuy the albums too. That's how it goes. I regret nothing. Right. Well, and there's also a matter of storage capacity. The fact is when you have 3,500 of these things, it takes up shelves and shelves and shelves. So yeah, and Grandy, he says it's a Gen X thing. Whoops, regretting nothing. It might be a Gen X thing. But the thing is that they're not going to take away my Blazing Saddles over here, right? It's not, or my DVD of Song of the South. I mean, they could do what they want, but they can't have that. And I hate paying them any more money. The fact is I own it, and anytime this is backup, and I like the covers. I still love the artwork. So that's my story. So shall we review? Back to, let me see. So let's just go to the top 6. Saucer Full of Secrets. Get this after you get the top 5. It still pains me. Metal, number 5. The Wall, number 4. And we'll put the original Mastering of The Wall, number 4. Dark Side of the Moon, number 3. Animals, number 2. Does that surprise y'all? What do you think? Animals. And number 1, Wish You Were Here. What do you think, guys? What do you think about Gosney's rankings? So Pink Floyd's an interesting. Now, I did want to talk a little bit more about Roger Waters. And Tank Rat, I know you met Roger Waters, and he's a good guy. But I will say politically, can't say I'm aligned. But of course, if I didn't listen to, Shane likes it. Okay, thank you, Shane. Good ranking. Jacob likes it. All right, so I'm not too far off. It's hard. It's hard. It's really kind of a gimmick to talk about our favorite bands, right? Division Bell. Yeah, of the Division Bell, I wasn't really into the Division Bell. Momentary Lapse is better, and Pulse is better, but I don't even. Can I admit I didn't buy the Endless River because to me that looked like a grab for cash. The first 2 solo Gilmour albums are really good though. About Face, David Gilmour's first solo album, and About Face, I think are superior to anything Waters has done solo. But let's talk about supporting somebody like Roger Waters who you may not be politically aligned, right? Well, that would go for almost all this music. I mean, there's so much. The thing is, you can say, first off, it's art, and artists are going to have their own thing, and it's the Endless River. That's what it's called. No, my Pulse CD doesn't blink anymore. I wonder if I can get it to blink. It had a little It has a little diode, and it would blink. This is a great album, though. This is a great live album. They played like the full. This is a very good live album, very well recorded. I'd say it's better. It's better than this one as far as the two live albums, "Delicate Sound of Thunder." But yeah, "Wall" is a masterpiece. Yes. Um, Gilmore's solo 77 album's fantastic. Yeah. And his second, "About Face," is also fantastic. And England DG coming in again, pitching across the plate. Um, look into Plex. That will do what you're looking for. What is Plex? I don't know what 10-meter Plex is. Yeah, so and Waters is just a difficult guy, and it comes across. I mean, you listen to Animals. Part of it is, part of what make Pink Floyd work is that bitter, kind of nasty, sarcastic, way of looking at the world. That's kind of, I mean, if you didn't have that, that's what you get in the Gilmore era Pink Floyd. He's trying to do it, but it's a little too happy. There's something about the music and that nasty attitude that goes together. So there is that. Yeah, and I know that Jacob is over here. He says radio chaos, and there's pros and cons of hitchhiking and all that. I got that, but it's not Pink Floyd. The ones we're talking about here are epic and great, and nothing they've done. If I was going to say the best solo stuff, I would say the first two Gilmore solo albums. So if you haven't checked those out, listen to About Face and his first solo album. I think those are the best two, the ones that I actually listen to a lot. Waters is hard for me to listen to Waters, and it's hard for me to support him. Like I would love to go see his Wall production, but I just can't bring myself to support him anymore. Given he's so nasty um, but on the other hand, if I said that about, I mean, I love them. He's obviously a great artist. You got to respect the creativity. And like, am I going to turn off a band because of that? So where do I draw the line? This is the question. Where do you draw the line? What is Plex, by the way, England? Was my question still there? Hey, it's Hidden Hands here. Wall has the best disco songs ever made. No, I have not listened to Irk Zero System Clock, but I will write this down because that's what I do. Write it down. Irk Zero System Clock. I love, love, love Tangerine Dream. So some of the other things I was thinking about going and doing was like a Tangerine Dream ranking, but that's hard. I can't do that because to me, every Tangerine Dream album within the Virgin years is about equal. And so it's hard for me to think like Led Zeppelin. I can't rank the Zeppelin albums because I love them all in different ways, and I love all of them. So I can't rank them. And so I was thinking about like doing some of my top bands, but Pink Floyd is susceptible to ranking in my book. Top 6, okay, those are great albums. And then there's four ones that I don't listen to. What does England say? This was such a cool hangout stop fun. Thank you for sharing. Also, the media collection. Remove the spaces. Oh, Plex. That's what you're talking about wanting. I want Plex. That is what you're talking about. You don't have to super chat. Tell me, what is Plex? Is that a band? I'm confused. Yeah, Tangerine Dream, anything from the Virgin period, from Phaedra all the way through Poland, is great, great, great. And there's a whole bunch of them, but it's very hypnotic. If you like Pink Floyd, you might like Tangerine Dream. 3 electronic keyboard players. Plex is a software TV. Okay. No, it's a media service. Plex is a media service. Okay. Yeah, so that's the pick. Oh, so where do you draw the line? Okay, well, that's tough. I mean, if I like the music but hate the politics, what do I do about that? Well, it depends if it's distracting for me. It depends if it's distracting for me. Like bands that are really anti-Christian, it's hard for me, it's like when and I don't pay much attention to lyrics, but when they're explicitly hating Christianity, right? It rubs me. Now, there's some bands that I know aren't Christians, but they're not like beaten up on Christianity, right? They're just not Christian. Or maybe they take a snotty role like Ozzy, Miracle Man. Okay, well, yeah, that's the televangelist. I get it. And we talked about this in the Genesis stream, right? Um, but it does that that lyric detracted from that song. Media server, I get it. I'll have to look. Plex, thank you. So I don't know. How do you guys draw the line? I mean, obviously, so if they hate that, or if they're like I'm not into Satan kind of doom devil metal, and it's like, oh, we love Satan, so evil, right? I mean, I can do it. Now, a lot of that's because, like a band, what's his name? Grandma, get out of your chair. That stupid guy. That guy, you know what I'm talking about. What's his name? Come on, you metalheads. Oh gosh. Grandma. King Diamond. King Diamond. I don't want to see King Diamond. You know, like, okay, you hate me. I get it. I'm not going to go see it. So that kind of like, but it's like, somebody that hates me, I'm not going to go. Here's England DG again coming in. He's pitching again. You're a hero. I don't hate the politics. People are human. Humans are allowed to be angry, upset. Everyone wants the best for their neighbor. I dislike when they preach hate to others. Right. Well, not everyone likes the best for the neighbor, as we're learning right now in real time. But I do dislike the hate. And that is something that, like, Roger Waters is kind of on the edge, but he is a great artist. So, how do we draw this line? It's a tough line to draw. I mean, I don't want to make somebody rich, and I want to support people who agree with me, but it's kind of like Christian rock. My friend Chris and I, if you look back on a stream, I talked to him about Christian music, and he loves Christian music, and that's what he wants out of his music is Christianity. And when he listens to it, he wants to hear the lyrics talking about Jesus in there, right? And I'm just not, if I don't have that, it's like, to me, music is holy in itself. It's like it transcends just our mere mortals. There's something greater. And I think by making the best music you could possibly do as a musician, you are serving God's purpose. And so making beautiful music, writing great songs, creating great songs transcends this mere mortal world. And so I think you can serve God even if you are, by doing your best in whatever you're doing and whatever you're crafting. Here's Glitterfart says, money is the root of all evil. Actually, it's the love of money that is the root of all evil. So if you put money ahead of other things, if you put that love of money over the love of your family, then that is evil. So it's making sure that God is at the first place. That's the first commandment, right? When you put money as idolatry, then that is the root of evil. Idolatry is the first commandment. So, yeah, Molten Salt's over there up on the res. Glitter Part's over in the YouTube chat. So I got to make sure my rumblers know what I'm talking about. Oh, I love Ave Maria. See, Shane Sousa. See, if you want my favorite version of Ave Maria, I love Ave. That's one of my favorite classical pieces. My favorite one, too, is from Disney's Fantasia. Love that. So, yes, Excited Dutter, it's good to see you. ADDF Toxic and Stephanie, good to see you. And Molten Soul. And it's me again, Sai. So where do we draw this line about politics and music? So if they hate me or they're preaching hate and it interferes with the music, yes. I like the same reason I don't like devil worship music. Maybe a part of the reason I don't like devil worship music and part of the reason I don't like, say, Christian music is that it's mixing something in with pure music that it's like, okay, to me, music is what you should be. You should do the best, make the best music you can. And if you do that, you're serving God, right? If you add something to it, it's like you're just marketing me. You're marketing some segment like, okay, I'm a Christian, I must like Christian music. I'm a devil worshiper, I must like devil. Now, devil music, I don't like, in addition to the fact, I think it takes, I don't know any great Satan music because I think it's basically, it's just a cheesy game to like, oh, look, we hate Christians. Ha ha ha. Yeah, you're really brave. So I don't really listen to lyrics that much. So let's see what other lines can we draw? Like there's a band called Prussian Blue. You ever heard of this band? These two young, pretty blonde girls that were taken by their parents who were neo Nazis and put out a bunch of music, and people were all into them. And it's like, but they're freaking neo Nazis. I don't like them. I don't care what they're playing. I don't want to hear that. But see, Michelle, do I play bass with my church choir? My son played bass and I played guitar just sort of as a support thing, but didn't we did that for just a little bit. It didn't work out, I will say. Um, and England DG coming in again, but a bit nerdy, but Tolkien felt they were sung into existence. This is in line with your thoughts about music. Well, an interesting thought you bring up, and that is in the Old Testament, there's a lot of speaking into being. The ancients believed that we bring evil into the world through speaking. In fact, I will share with you, I'm writing this fantasy novel, which is a long way off, but I'm developing some of the religious concepts in it. And one of them is that we speak evil. So the religion that I'm putting into my novel is hands and breath, because evil comes into the world by that which you speak and that which you touch and feel and manipulate with your hands. That's how we create evil or good. So be careful on how you speak. Speaking untruths is where we bring evil. And so when you look in the Old Testament, that's what they believe. It says God spoke the world into existence. The word is the Lord, right? So a lot of this speaking, the action of speaking is where evil is done. So evil within the hearts of man, yes, but does it translate into action, into hands and mouth? It's a very important concept. Like somebody was saying, well, is Roger Waters an anti-Semite? Back to our topic. Well, you know what matters? Actions. Right? Does it matter? And I think we get this confused so much. We want to put a label on somebody. Can I judge his heart? No. But what are your actions? To me, it's sort of the whole like in law, we talk about like racial enhancements. If it's racially motivated, then it's an extra level up or something. You get more punishment. See, to me, that it's like, well, why do I care why this person is attacking me? If somebody kills my friend, why they did it is kind of irrelevant to me. I mean, they could do it because they're drugged out of their minds. They're full of hatred. Maybe they did it for money. All of the reason. Either way, my friend is dead. Now, I understand that for purposes of criminal punishment, we want to punish heightened mens rea. But the fact that somebody say they're full of hate, but they do good in the world, or it's sort of it's a strange thing to me. How you act and behave and treat others is more important than the wrestling you do. We wrestle with ideas, and maybe some of those ideas are hatred, and some of those are biased and politically incorrect or racial or whatever the thing is. But those are ideas. Do you express them in what you do? Are you actually acting on those ideas, or are because how you act and what you do is who you are. So anyway, so England, so you get me. England's you've got my number. You know how to get me talking, don't you? Yeah, England's coming in with super chats again. So yeah, like why are you killing everybody and killing little babies and stuff? I don't know, but something's wrong, right? I mean, to me, I think the problem is the killing of the babies, right? I mean, that's the point. I don't know. So yeah, okay. Upon the horizon, he's crushing it. Here, I knew Upon's in the chat, so I'm safe. So yeah, my Catholic weak biblical quotation got to be safe, but the old Protestant over here. But let me read you what Upon the Horizon in Rumblesnatch says, which is great. Let's see. Upon the horizon, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and through him all things were created. John 1:1, right? You see there? So that's what I think that we need to be aware of that when we speak. Our hands and our mouth is how we create evil and bring it into the world. You give the devil life through your words. So, anyways, let me think here. What was I going to tell you about? Oh, so we're still thinking about drawing lines. England DG, you're going to keep me on again. See, I think it's his mission. I'm not against this. All right, I really do favor. We got to talk. I mean, I'm always fascinated by somebody like England, who's a big supporter. I mean, I have like Let's Go Brandon has been a big supporter of mine, and Patrick is a big supporter of mine. And I mean, I'm always humbled when somebody. I mean, this is real commitment to doing what I'm doing and supports me in this way. So I am very appreciative. So with that said, I don't know, enough fluff. I live in a state that is nearly 40% black. I get very tired of states that are 1 to 5% black telling me that I'm racist and telling me what it's like to live around black people. My neighbors are statistically black. Piss off. Right. Well, and something there is a good point here, and that is that let me think. I mean, the number of people that I have represented, not just of all racial categories, that have fought like the Dickens to get them out of with everything I have. And this is what I'm talking about. Let's assume I'm Mr. Racist, right? Oh, I'm this hater. I'm a canceled conservative. I'm a bad guy, right? Or for whatever. I can tell you, I fight like there's no tomorrow for every one of my clients. I know in my heart that I do my best for every client, regardless of race. Now, whatever I think, whatever my political or personal beliefs may be, does that matter if I'm doing the best I can for my clients, no matter what the race? I don't even look at what the race is generally. When I'm looking through it, I don't know. And when somebody asks me, I'm like, I don't know. I got to go look it up. And so he's a troll. You're not a troll. You're a good man. So, and there's another thing about the South. The South has had there's like he's saying, we get along. My brother is my friend. The people that are near me, we work together. Now, I know there's still petty animosities and stuff like that, and all that racial stuff goes on. But a lot of people in these other states that have not had their reckoning. I mean, I will say some of my family that's in other northern states have much more upfront and abusive about racial issues than I found in a lot of southern communities. So, be careful of pointing that finger at others, because what is it? There's upon the horizon. You're gonna get me this. What is it? The splinter in my eye. The log in yours. That's always a good one. So upon the horizon is correcting me. So he was born Catholic, and he's just he became a protester. Water. Okay, so let me think. What was he talking? Oh, so where do we draw these lines on music and artists and their music? So if it's explicitly and it interferes with my listening pleasure, then I definitely and I'll say, that peeks its ugly head a little bit on the Final Cut to me. Where was Final Cut? Right here somewhere. It's on the lower list here. Final Cut was number 8, right? And he's talking about how like Reagan and Thatcher were so evil at the time. Reagan and Thatcher, they're going to start World War III, right? Come on. It's like, are you serious? This was what you had. Where are you now, Mr. Waters? Our current president doesn't seem to be keeping peace in the world. Where's the protest there? So anyway, you get the idea. What do you guys think? I mean, you guys are in the world out there. I mean, how do you draw these lines about what not to listen to? Like who I'm trying to think of some other bands that maybe turned me off because of politics. I know it would be Rage Against the Machine. I'm not. I don't really want to listen to them because they're freaking communists, and they want to play, and they're playing in Cuba, Havana, Cuba. I mean, we're in Florida. I have a lot of friends who are Cubans. They're not very. I can't say that old Fidel and old Che were such good-hearted liberals who protected everybody. So I don't. I can't say that's a band that I don't like. Um, yeah, they rage. It's like, it's me again. Sai says they rage with the machine now. Right? Yeah, they're so tough. Yeah, like the thing is, all these bands that are raging against the machine, the reason they're multimillionaires is because of the corporate machine. I mean, do you think that the rock stars in communist China are getting any money, or in Russia? I mean, no. The capitalist machine is what's generating their wealth. So England DG keeps me up at night. My daughter turned 19 a few days ago and is half black. Getting her turned onto Floyd was difficult, but I did get her into the Who through Tommy. The Who is a band I might do some rankings with. I don't know. Oh, for Reagan and Thatcher. Land of Confusion from Genesis. Yeah, that's another one that it bothered me. I didn't like that. Um, because I lived in Reagan. The thing is, see, maybe it's because I'm an Xer, not a boomer. I'm an Xer, and I remembered Carter. Carter was my first president. I remember how horrible it was. And I mean, I was raised by a single mom, and we had to live through that hyperinflation period. It wasn't hyper. We're getting ready to see some hyperinflation, but we lived through a very high inflationary period, and it was like high inflation, high unemployment. Everything was saying, and he's up there saying we're just going to have to live with less. And then the Iranians took the hostages, and we were America under hostage for 444 days, right? And then when Reagan came in, it was like a bright ray of sunshine. So I don't want to hear that stuff. But all those same lefties were talking about how terrible Ronnie was. Really? Yes, excited utterance. You're right. Pink Floyd's album art goes down in history. Strom Thorgerson is a legend among graphic designers. I have a link to his website. I can send you for the mods if you like. Yeah, that was Hypnosis. I think it's called Hypnosis, which is that Strom. I can never pronounce his name. I read it. But Hypnosis did this cover, for example. I mean, it's kind of epic, and then all of these covers were Hypnosis covers. So I'm thinking about what other bands we could do. We could do the Who. I don't know. Yeah, you got it right. It's me again, Cy, and plays the Knight Rider theme, watches you cry. Who is the voice of Knight Rider? Ooh, here's a good trivia question. Excuse me, I'm all this talking. Yes, who was the voice of Knight Rider? Remember David Hasselhoff and that stupid car? Look, it was not cool in the 80s. You know that one, England? I'll give you. Here's the ridiculous amount of trivia that I know about this stupid stuff. And I'll give you the first connection is that the voice of Knight Rider, the voice of Knight Rider was played John Adams in 1776 on the original Broadway musical 1776 and the movie 1776. John Adams, if you watch 1776, great musical about the Revolution. Love that musical. The lead character is John Adams, and John Adams is played by the voice of Knight Rider. David Nelson got it. William Daniels. And later he became a Saint Elsewhere. That was the TV hit that he was in. Yeah, I'm Gen X. What do you think? Come on. Born in 67. All right. Well, I think we're doing good. In England, DG, I think you won most valuable player again for tonight. I thank you. And you really uplifted my spirits the other night, and it's good to have you again here tonight. And I will say I thank you for that. Next show I think I'm going to be on, unless I come up with some new idea between now and then. I teach tomorrow for American law courses at night, so I won't be doing that. I won't be. I'm working very hard on that, but criminal procedure, if you don't know. But Friday, I'm going to be on Vice's stream, so we're going to have the F It Friday, with Jeff from Legal Vices. So I'll be on there on Friday at some time. I don't know. We're in that milieu. Yeah, we got here's Michelle C. We're the same age. Yeah, the thing is, we Xers, and it as a fellow Xer. Then, it's the boomers and the millennials, and we get squished in the middle, and the millennials are leaping over us as we're working hard in our career, trying to get ahead, thinking we're in a meritocracy, and then they're just like leaping over us and stuff. It's ridiculous. They should listen to us millennials. All right. I hope Andrew is paying you well. He pays me pretty good. Better than most. I will say that, that's one thing. Let's see. Make sure we got everybody in the Rumble. Did I miss any Rumble rants? I think not. Okay, good. And I think we're caught up here. All right. Good to see you all, and I'll be seeing you on Friday on Legal Vices, and then I'm recruiting some people. We're going to have a big party stream on the pre-release party for Brucey the One-Eyed Wonder Dog, which is available for pre-order, but we're going to really talk about it then. All right. Wait, one more thing. Ted Park, Canadian 10, Ted Park from Canada. Thanks for the stream. Glad the algorithm suggested the stream to me. I don't know how these algorithms work. I don't know anything. Generally, when I do things, it's at 8 o'clock because it's right after dinner. Everybody's kind of going their own ways, and I still have enough energy that I'm not asleep. Like these Nick Rekieta streams out at midnight, to me, kill me. So thank you, Ted. All right. Good night.